Cool. So ready to start this. Sweet. Want to kick off by I heard what we were talking about with the master farmers. Bogart. So we have a little bit over $1 million in our treasury now, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We have successfully gotten, I think, let me check exactly how much it is since we can see that on Nathan's nice dashboard. It looks like we have 180 Ethereum sitting in the treasury right now, $1.2 million.
Cool. And we've spent a little bit on something that we might mention. But as far as Pan
Maybe.
goes, as as as, as far as Pan goes, Pan is designed to put a small amount of money into new listings and to exit at 10 to 100x, maybe even larger, depending on how much research we do post. Pan's self-sufficient. We don't need to be continually dumping funds into Pan. So at this point, can you speak on the type of investments that we are looking at currently now that we have a absorbent amount of capital to start with?
Right. So yeah, that was like to mostly repeat what I said before, since we're at the top of a new space, is we've begun branching out as we've mentioned before. Pan is the very very beginning of what we're doing. Um, so Pan is just our very high risk, very high reward, super slow or super low cap, algorithm. And Pan is, currently active and totally kicking ass, and it's awesome to see. I mean, we're gonna totally smash records. We're gonna lead DeFi 3.0. We have the best team, and it's a big team too. And I don't want to leak how many people are on the team necessarily, but you guys should know we are not just two people in a room or something like that. So we have Pan, and Pan has been performing just amazing. It's like Nate said, going in our private channel and seeing how Pan thinks, how Pan handles positions is just absolutely amazing. But yeah, now Dione is what we're introducing as our new algorithmic trading protocol that focuses mostly on undervalued but legitimate small caps that seem to have promise, more mid-tier risk, as we like to categorize it. If Pan is our extremely high risk, flip a dime into a dollar, then Dion sort of falls into that, to the middle area. And these are just our algorithmic trading protocols, and as we mentioned before, that's barely the tip of the iceberg for what we have planned, for generating yield and returns for the treasury and then to you guys. So yeah, we're just really excited to introduce the idea of Dione to you, and tell you that Dione is on the way.
Sweet. And then I just want to kind of like touch on what exactly Dion will be doing. Don't want to give anything away because we don't want to be front run. But if anybody here has followed me and is like a Dex Tools junkie, you can go to Dex Tools real quick and look at Fabric. The name is Fabric, like clothing material. Fabric, Fabric. And you'll notice that it launched on the 4th. Unfortunately for us, that was the first day that Pan was released. So we did have a congestion where Pan did not enter Fabric. Pan was down for 3 hours while Fabric launched, and Fabric did a nearly a 10x in the first 2 hours. But if you look at like the grand scheme of things, that 10x looks like nothing now. It went 10x and then it retraced 50%. This is some actually retraced 60%. This is something where Dion would decide, okay, bullish start. Now we're retracing. Do I add a position here? So even if we miss the listing, do I add a position? And if Dion were to have decided this is a bullish token, let's relay the information, let's add a position. It could have added the position on the 5th or the 6th, and if it added the position on the 5th or the 6th, it would have netted a nearly a 9 to a 10x as well. So this is something where if for some reason Pan doesn't work out, or if say we have a Pan position and it retraces, Pan's not going to sell the retrace. Dion will then maybe decide that it's time to add on to that position and capitalize gains. And if you're looking at Dex Tools right now and you're looking at Fabric, you'll see it absolutely looks like a moon. And this is something that we're aiming for Dion to execute on. And like Bogar said, cannot stress how amazed we are with Pan. Like, it's absolutely insane. If you go to Dex Tools recently listed and look at all the newly listed tokens, if anything has massive gains that is in a honeypot, I think I've seen it come across, and I'm not going to go any further than that.
I
Um,
always have to cut Nate off because he likes to disclose too much. And again, I know we would love to tell you specifically what Pan has entered and how Pan's trades have performed, but we can't. That's proprietary information, and we'll be releasing results post exits at certain intervals. Um, but these returns, there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like the returns that Pan is able to achieve from entering into these positions. And it's been astounding. And so, stacking Dione on top of that, we're building our arsenal. And we have these algorithmic trading protocols that, are entering and exiting in on positions that, at different intervals, and they might be the same position, they might be different. It's like Nate said, if Pan chooses not to hit fabric, maybe Dion does for a different reason. And it's all just risk reward. It's risk adjusted trading strategies. But all of it in the end is net gains for the Treasury, which again, 50% of the Treasury gains will go to buying back ACYC on market, which is 10% reflections for everybody. And then that entire supply of ACYC gets reflected manually to holders. So you kind of get double reflections. So yeah, the better Pan and Dion and our other trading strategies go, the more rewards you'll see directly in your pockets, and that will be viewable on the website as a separate reflections category from the reflections you're earning just on the purchase side of things.
Sweet. And then if I wasn't bullish enough, you feel free to unmute yourself if I go a little too far. But I think I heard Bogart talking about this. I've gotten referred to multiple times as this is ACYC is the Nate and Bogart token. While I am Bogart is at the moment, endorsing it as our own. Like if this fails, look towards us. Fine. We are nothing compared. We are something, but we are nothing compared to the other minds behind this. Like when the time comes, we will, announce the other people on this, involved with this project. But I'm super bullish because one, I'm bullish on myself and I'm bullish on my potential to create something amazing. But two, gosh, we have some amazing minds behind us that are literally doing things that would take us 10 years to accomplish in terms of the connections and the, furthering of this project that they're bringing. So yeah, me and Bogart, like Bogart and I are amazing, but we have some people that really need applauded. And they will be in the future, but it's not just us. And that's why we really welcome, like, there's been a couple projects that have, released with our exact same format. Like they're going to do everything we do, and word for word copied us, but you cannot copy this team. Uh, if you're looking for a moonshot, go look at those if you want. But as far as long term, get out of them because we're the ones who are going to deliver massively. And I'm going to stop there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll add to that, and to speak to the team as well. Some questions we've received obviously several times is, is the team going to dock? And obviously me, I'm Bogart, and Nate is Nate, and like we are faces you can look to for ACYC at this point. But our team is very large. It's much more than Nate and I, and it's everyone on the team is a fucking genius, honestly. Um, More so than myself. I like to speak to ACYC. I love what the token is doing. I love everything about it, but I'm not the mental powerhouse that is bringing it to fruition. And so yeah, I mean we've onboarded more people and we are continuing to. Our whole goal is more big brains being involved in the project because that is more decentralization and it's higher performance for us. But yeah, something we've been asked about. Yeah, it's like the doxing thing is like a big principle in this space is like respecting people's anonymity, and so like there's no requirement for anyone on our team ever to disclose who they are, whether it's their metaverse personality or not. They can. But that's not what matters. The principles of decentralization and performance are what matter for ACYC.
perfect.
Yeah, long
Perfect.
term, the ultimate goal is like full decentralization. That's one thing that really drew me to the project. So like, at least you'll be able to like delegate certain portions of the project to certain people, like certain funds or certain bots to certain people that run them. if not full decentralization in certain areas. So it's really more of a protocol than a token at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, full decentralization is the long-term goal, or at least getting as close to that as possible. So it's just going to be like one step at a time, but it's got to start out kind of centralized. So that's where we're at right now. But yeah, it's going to just like kind of fade into decentralization over time.
Yeah, I'm glad you chimed in and mentioned that too, because like, right here, right now, I look at charts and I work on ACYC. That's all I do. You know, the end goal, and this is bullish for everybody, is if Bogart and I and the rest of the team all get hit by a car, it would still run properly, and the holders would still be reflecting until the day they die. And then whoever controls their wallet will reflect till the day they die. This is not something where, at the moment, yes, it's centralized. But it's only as centralized as it needs to be. And the end goal is to make it something that is a structure that can just be filled in X and Y. And that's why I also wanted to mention, I think I heard Bogart chime on this too. We're looking for the best of the best in terms of advisors, because we have people who can farm, who will give us good returns, et cetera, et cetera. We have people who can trade. We have people who can, et cetera, all that stuff. But the goal of this project is to have the best of the best advising them. So when we bring on an advisor for farming, that advisor will not be executing trades. That advisor will be somebody talking one-on-one with our farmers, saying, hey, this is what I'm looking at, this is what I've learned, and this is what I want you guys to know when you are executing for this team, when you are executing for those holders. I'm in talks with a few farmers, master farmers, that will advise our current team of farmers, because right now we do have people who will farm. They will farm us, just about as standard as everyone else. But there are people in the space who do godlike things in terms of returns when it comes to farming. And we are going to incentivize them heavily to come work with our farmers, because if anyone knows anything about farming or liquidity providing, if it's different than shitcoins, or different than trading low caps, where, in low caps and shitcoins, if you use 5 ETH or 5 Ethereum on a trade, you can't scale that up and use 50 Ethereum, because if you use 50 Ethereum, you'll be exit liquidity. But when it comes to farming and liquidity providing, a good farmer and a good liquidity provider can make the same percentage gains on capital that, with 5 mil or 50 mil that they can make with 500K. So we are going to incentivize people to come farm long term for us, for our holders, and even benefit them even more by getting one-on-one work or one-on-one time with star advisors. Don't want to break down our model too much, but as bullish as we are on Pan and Dione and everything else that we're going to do, it'll compare nothing to the long term when our treasury is sitting at $50 to $100 million, and we're farming, roughly 500K to $1 million a day. That'll be insane. Imagine that. Imagine market buying. If we're doing 50% of that to market buy, imagine market buying $250,000 worth to $500,000 worth of tokens every single day and distributing it to holders. That's the end goal. And the end, I really don't want to touch more on this. I don't want Bogart to unmute his mic and say Nate, cut it off. But yeah, and we're not only looking for farmer advisors, we're looking for a lot of other things too. We have a solid team to get us to a good point, but we also want the gigabrains here. We're going to incentivize heavily and do everything we can to reflect. The end goal of this project is to reflect harder than the day before, the week before, the month before, because the more we're reflecting, that means the more that people are buying this token, that means the more that people are selling this token, and that means the more that we're getting in gains from our treasury. So, when people say, oh, I'm reflecting so hard, like, that's a good sign. It's a good sign if we're reflecting. And if you weren't here for the last space, we have uploaded the two previous, the first and the second space, but not the last one. The one before this, for anybody who missed it, we have been market buying tokens from our buyback funds. And our CTO, Chief Technology Officer, he coded something into the contract where if we send tokens from the treasury to the contract, it'll evenly disperse them to all the holders depending on how many tokens they're holding. So it's a reflection. So this last Twitter space, we reflected $150,000 worth of tokens to all of the holders. We still hold more tokens than that currently. We only sent out 50% of the tokens that we had already bought, and we still have roughly $250,000 to market buy with. So We're not going to announce when we're buying. We're also not going to follow other protocols where they say, oh, we're going to market buy 25 Ethereum worth or 50 Ethereum worth a day. This is just not how it's going to go. We're going to support the chart. We're going to support everybody in general. So if we need to add the liquidity pool, would we get a little bit higher? Then we're out of the liquidity pool. If we're dipping in kind of at a disrespectful range, you best believe we're going to freaking Chad buy and send that out to the holders. But there's no structure until we are as decentralized as we plan to be, because currently we are as semi-centralized. On top of that, yeah, like I've had a lot of good conversations with some master farmers. So if anybody knows any wizards that I might not be looking at, because dude, some of the smartest people I know in NFTs don't have a Twitter. So if there's somebody on Discord, if there's someone in a private group that I need to be talking to, I need to DM me their names, because we will reward them heavily. Bogart, is there anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, yeah, the farming, I'm really excited about the farmers that we have already, and having advisors, master advisors who can, boost that even more is really exciting. But I mean, for me, what's really exciting right now is Dione and Pan. And because like the way I like to think about it is, it's like Pan is like the best algo trader that beats any human's performance. And Dione is like having 1,000 traders looking at every pair all the time. And so like when you're thinking about like what we're doing, like at the ground level, like those investments are like that. It's like having an army of like amazing, automatic giga brains. And then, we're stacking our farming on top of that. We're going to be stacking other protocols on top of that, adding more and more risk adjusted trading strategies and implementing them to the treasury and having that go back to you guys is like our entire focus right now. So yeah, Nate and I mean, we're both, and the rest of the team are really at our computers grinding all day. I'm probably there 18, 20 hours a day. I'm at the computer. We're doing ACYC. And so that's really exciting. Another thing that I wanted to mention is we are going to be coming out with a liquidity guide for doing LP on ACYC. So you can be, providing liquidity, earning reflections, sort of like stacking that on top of each other. I know people were having issues with the whole Uniswap V2, V3 thing. So yeah, just wanted to announce that as well. Within the next couple days, you will see a new ACYC Medium article with guides on how to do that. And again, it goes back to what Nate's saying. This is about reflections for you guys, manual and automatic. I mean, we want to reward the holders. That's number one. And I think Nate even mentioned last time we're going to be doing even more manual reflections and buyback from the sale side of our taxes that fill up our treasury as well. So it's just super exciting, all of it. Yeah.
And then I see a ton. I'm scrolling through. I always scroll through the faces. I'm seeing a ton of new faces in here. Bogart, do you mind if I spend like 3 minutes to caffeinatedly describe, the full picture beyond the pan?
Yeah,
And
no, go for it. As long as you don't give any juicy leaks.
I unmute and whistle or something if I'm going too
Yeah.
far. So guys, Pan, Dione, if you've been in this call the entire time, you know what that's about. That's not the end goal. That's something to be excited about for now. But the end goal is to create the largest treasury that we can to then reward our holders with. So Pan, the new listing algo system, is our way to turn a penny into a dollar. It's our way to hit the 100x's. Dione will be our way to flip a nickel into a quarter. So, 5x's, maybe 10x's. And those are all great, but they can't scale. So if Pan was buying new tokens at, say, 0.1 Ethereum each buy, we cannot scale that to Pan buying new tokens at 5 Ethereum each buy. At a certain point, we're going to lose more money than we're making if we do that. So we have so many methods to scale out that treasury. So, there's only so much Pan and Dione could do if we had a $100 million treasury. So we are branching out into so many risk diversified plays. Some of them will be, we'll have some algorithms for buying the dip. We'll have whitelisted tokens that are super bullish. Say, they do $5 million to $100 million in volume every day. And we'll add those to our list, and the algorithm will wait. And what type of signals the algorithm will wait for is, say in a 1 hour time frame, the token dips 30%, the algorithm will create a position. Creating a position means buy some tokens. and it'll create it depending on the size of the liquidity pool. So it'll be pretty well done. And then say in the next 15 minutes or an hour, it dips 50% in total. It'll buy more. And then our operators will be looking at that and they'll be manually looking and saying, okay, we're ready to buy or we're ready to sell on the uptrend. Because anything that is already in an uptrend and super bullish that dips 30% to 50% in an hour or two, that's a buy signal. You always buy that if anybody's listening, unless the team just flat out posted on Twitter that they're rugging. Buy that shit every time. And so that's something where we'll have it'll almost be low risk, high reward plays where our future algorithm, can't release a name because it hasn't been named yet. We'll be buying those dips and profiting from that. We'll also have other avenue streams such as in the future we would like to, oh my gosh, I'm going to say real fast, we'd like to get into like IDOs where we get whitelisted by projects that are super bullish in the beginning. And we're almost like a fund that gets approved to buy a position early on and reward our holders when we sell. God, I'm trying not to go too far into it. The end goal is farming. The end goal is to create the largest liquidity or the largest treasury fund that we can to farm with, because farming in the end will yield us way more in terms of net dollars into our treasury than anything else will. So at the end of the day, the goal is farming as a service. The goal is to profit from farming and liquidity providing to then transfer the gains back to our holders. So Pan and Dione are super exciting. The dip algorithm is super exciting. Getting into IDO stage tokens or VC stage tokens, like that's super exciting. But the end goal is to create the largest treasury fund that we can to farm liquidity and provide liquidity for to then farm gains for our holders. There's a trillion other ways that we're going to provide value to our holders, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, and every time I try to start a new sentence, I'm like, you know what? Shoot. If anybody is gigabrain like us and they want to front run us, I'm probably going to have to keep some of the pie covered up and wrapped away. So I'm not going to mention, the rest of the solution, but we have many other ways planned to provide value in ways that our holders could not. And then at the end of the day, too, I wanted to mention this as well. Like, if you're listening to me right now, I think 90% of us can agree we have not been through a bear. Some of us here are vets. Some of us, we've had that depressing 2 or 3 years cycle. We've gotten that, notch on our belt, but like most of us listening right now, I believe, have not been through a bear. And when the bear comes, you're going to want the best people representing you and representing your capital. And an investment in ACYC will be that. It'll be us making the best decisions. When you see Bitcoin and Ethereum tank 30 to 40% in a day, I want you to smile. I want you to smile because you know that our dip algorithm is buying all the fucking juiciest dips and selling on the retracements. Because a lot of the most human errors are made through emotions. So like say, I know a lot of people are going to relate with this. A lot of us have seen a token that we're really bullish on dip. We buy that dip and that dip bounces. It goes up. That person's in the profit. And then you know what? They say, yeah, this is what it's worth. I should have I think it'll go up even higher. But in reality, look a couple of days further and you realize it dips even more. You're once in the profit and now you're in the negative, and you buy that dip again. The dip of that dip, dips again. And it just continually dips, and now you're so far in the negative, you're sad, and you look back and you say, why did I keep adding? Why didn't I take profit, et cetera, et cetera. These algorithms will remove that human emotion from the trades, and you'll know that a day where Bitcoin and Ethereum and all alts go down 30%, that the algorithm is making the trades that you wish you did and securing profits, even if they do go another 2x. So yeah, this is a pretty bear hedged. We want to be the Binance token of the bear market. We want this to be the thing that, they always say, even in a bear market, there's always a bull somewhere. We want our bull to be right here. So yeah, that's Nate's day of bullishness. So I think I can.
Yeah, I mean, just to build on that, it's like what Nate is saying is like, yeah, I mean, we have our algorithmic trading protocols, and those are awesome, but when we are $1 billion market cap, or when we are a $5 billion market cap, like our treasury, like taking advantage of those algorithmic protocols, and then farming strategies and other DeFi strategies, whether it's cross-chain arbitrage or just, LP or whatever it is. Like we have the tools to keep providing value, and whether it's a bear market or not, our treasury will keep filling. We will be the bear market coin 100%. We are the leaders of DeFi 3.0. And we will remain that, and it doesn't matter what the market is. And having that confidence to know that, when you go to bed holding ACYC, it's like Nate said, we will be executing trades that are profitable regardless of what the rest of the market is doing. And I can say from my own personal experience, I'm way more comfortable holding ACYC, knowing what's going on the back end, than I am holding Ethereum or Bitcoin right now. ACYC is the hedge against the bear. And that's just going to remain true and only get greater and greater as our treasury fills and goes back to you all.
Perfect. Yeah, well said. Because that's pretty much exactly what it is. We're a bear hedge, and we're also a bull hedge. Like in a bull market, we've got algorithms and stuff in place that'll profit massively, and in a bear market, we have methods in place that'll profit massively. Maybe not massively, conservatively. We'll make conservative gains in the bear, and we'll make bullish gains in the bull. So, yeah, this is that token that when the bear comes, be happy you're holding it. Pat yourself on the back. Say, 3 months ago, I really made a good decision by holding this, et cetera, et cetera. But also, it's okay to take profits. Nothing should go parabolically up. So if tomorrow you wake up at a 500 mil market cap for ACYC, don't be ashamed to take some profits and secure generational wealth. Bogart, do we want to do any questions, or do we just want to end it here and have everyone?
I say let's bring up some questions. I mean, I will say first of all, join our Discord. Our Discord has already grown to over 1,000 members, which is really exciting. People are loving it in there. We're all reflecting all the time. It seems like ACYC, we're in this wonderful little bubble. While we climb to $1 billion market cap, we all just get to sit back and reflect and hang out in the Discord. There's a private alpha room in there now. If you're holding 200 million or more ACYC, you're a big reflector. And, that's being able to take advantage of the big brains that are on the ACYC team. I mean, you can go in there and, Nate and I are in there all the time, asking questions, making trades, doing all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I mean, even after our last spaces, we were in there doing Q&A on the Discord, on the voice chat, and we love that. I think doing some Q&A right here on Twitter would be good too for the people who aren't in Discord. But just so everybody knows, yeah, we did launch the ACYC Discord. You should join. It's really fun in there. Yeah, so let's bring on some people for questions, Nate, for sure.
Cool, yeah. So request to be a speaker if you want to ask some questions. Try to keep it to one question each person. And then I also wanted to mention in the Alpha channel, I like I said at the beginning of this call, I'm always looking at charts and I'm always working on ACYC. If I look at a chart and I see like a bullish opportunity that I think I can't sway the market on, so I'm only going to mention stuff that has $10 to $50 million in volume, where somebody throwing in to Ethereum isn't going to pump it. I'm not going to do any of that. But if I'm looking at something that I think I can mention to the holders in the Alpha channel, I will put my thoughts out there. I called a conservative good morning call that's already up 25%. And I called something else I'm not going to mention the name of because long-term bullish on it, and I don't want to affect the price at the moment. So yeah, request to be a speaker if you have any questions, and we'll bring you up. Yo, Bibby, I brought you up right now. I saw you were one of the first requesters a while back. Did you have a question, or did you just want to say something?
Yeah, I was curious, guys. I love the whole logo competition that you have. You guys do seem like community-based, and I was wondering, are you going to do any more community-based stuff?
Yeah, community is super important to us. So running logo competitions is, just the beginning of that. I mean, from the jump, listening to the community complain about the logo was the impetus for us to decide to do that logo contest. And as opposed to hiring out or getting a designer, I mean, having the community involved is 100% key for us. And that's sort of like why we have the Discord too, where we're in there hanging out and sharing alpha and stuff. It's community outreach. And we have big plans for other things, charity and donations. We love to buy back and reflect, but we also love to, donate and involve the community in charitable causes. And that's something we're going to be doing moving forward as well. But yeah, just to highlight community engagement is absolutely huge, because I feel like that's where a lot of other projects fall short. It's one thing if you're holding a token in your wallet and you check your balance on CoinGecko, but it's another thing if you can actually go in and interact with the people who are, part of the team and ask them questions and, just hang out and do all of that. So that's huge for ACYC. And it lends itself to the decentralization of the project, which is our ultimate goal. So like the more people involved, the more people who have their hands in it, the more people talking about it and are part of the community, are the more people that are ACYC.
Nice, awesome. Excited for this. All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. So I brought up Blake and somebody else that I can't see right now. It's kind of like glitched. So Blake, do you want to start? And then the other person I brought up, you can go after Blake.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? GM, Nate, Bogart, thanks for having me up. Big fan. Love what you guys are doing. I just aped in with a little starter position. One of the questions that I had for you, though, was how are you guys positioning yourselves to avoid the Howey test? And I guess what precautions are you taking for regulation?
Yeah, so we have talks with legal counsel, but also next to that, the whole concept of reflections, it's kind of like it's similar to staking, or it's similar to LP rewards. It's handled that way, but an inherent thing about the Howey test and all of that is like if it's yielding, and ACYC on its own is not yielding. Reflections don't happen if the pair is inactive. So it's not a token that you buy and it yields no matter what. It's driven by function in the market. So it shouldn't be an issue.
No, that's a great response. Big fan of the project and look forward to seeing what the future holds. Great work.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, we appreciate the question, and we're so happy to have you on board, man.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Huge fan of the project. Basically, I have a question for you guys. So how do you guys want to respond to just the high concentration of like large coin holders? Over the past couple of days, we're seeing some people that accumulated quite a bit of ACYC. The top holder, I think, has like 2.5% of the total supply. So like, what do you guys have to say in response to that? Of like, as the coin kind of keeps going up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally really bullish. I know that largest holder has been in communication directly with ACYC and has been asking questions of the team and everything like that. But to watch, certain individuals actually throw 50 Ethereum at ACYC, I think speaks volumes about what the project is doing and the longevity of it. And I think like our community outreach and engaging with people, I think that is like the iron, the glue that'll hold this all, together, is the community is ACYC. And so I don't think, even with a 2% holder, we're totally fine. It's an amazing holder distribution that we have already. And so it just makes me even more bullish to see, people with a lot of money saying, look, this is valuable and I'm gonna just keep sinking funds into it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, and then I also wanted to add that in terms of distribution, it's actually beautiful. If you look at it, I think the ACYC official Twitter posted a chart that pretty much about every one of the top holders, aside from the first few, which one of them is the advisory fund, all hold 1% or less tokens, which is amazing. During the MCC FUD, where they found out they were inflationary, their top holder held 9%. 9%. That's absolutely insane. Like, imagine that right now at a 50 mil market cap, that would be $5 million worth of ACYC. And that top holder actually sold all of them in one giant chunk on the way down. So we don't have that potential where somebody can sell, 9% of our supply in one chunk. They can sell 2%. And I think we have a lot of people in this call and a lot of people in general that are waiting for a dip. So if that top holder actually did want to sell, that'd be great. But the current top holder with 2.5% sees the long-term vision and is excited for what's to come.
And also, yeah, to highlight I mean, $50 million market cap, it's, massive from where we started. It's puny relative to tokens. And, even when Bitcoin started, it's the same thing. And holder count and holder positions, it redistributes over time. And I think that, just based off of engaging with the community and the people who are our largest holders, I think we personally as a team feel extremely confident that we have some awesome diamond hands in the people who do have the 1% or 2% at max. So it really is just bullish to see strong and smart investors taking large positions, because really that secures ACYC as a whole for all of us, to have those people on lock.
Sweet. I'm going to bring up a couple other people. I've noted. All right. So I'm going to do Ivan, then Wall Street Stonks, and then execute the rest.
Hi.
Ivan, if you want to go
Can
first.
you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
First, I want to say I'm just incredibly impressed with what you guys are creating. I really think it's next level. I'm not seeing anything else out there quite like this. And I have a couple questions. The first is, I heard 50% of the earnings on the Treasury go back to buying tokens. What does the other 50% go to?
Yeah, so the breakdown of that, 50% goes to buying tokens and gets manually reflected back to everyone. 35% remains in the Treasury to seed further investments. And then 15% is the only operating costs that we have set aside for advisors, the team, developers, engineers, all of that. So the team only even gets, paid for our work if we're successful and you guys are rewarded. And it's just a modicum of that as well anyways. But that's the breakdown. Yeah.
Sweet, that sounds great. And I'm so glad you want to align the profit of farmers with success. So I'm all for that. The other question I had was, if somehow regulations did become a problem, do you see this being decentralized enough where in some way it could operate outside of regulations, or is that a potential weakness you see in the project?
Yeah, no, I think that's a big priority for us. And so from the beginning of this, our team is global. We are a big team already, and we will only get more decentralized. But as it stands, we're a token, and we really only need to be on Uniswap right now. And if Uniswap ever gave us trouble, we could go to somewhere else. If central exchanges want to take us, that's great. It's not our priority. It's not our focus. Our focus is yield and returning capital to the holders, and we don't need anything else to do that. So this is an ERC20. It's on the blockchain. Ideally, if Nate and myself and the rest of the team go, it's like he said, the coin will keep going, and no one can stop that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously different jurisdictions are different, and we all know the US is only one part of the world, but it'd be a bummer to see that hold the project back. So I'm glad you guys are thinking about it.
Yeah, 100%. No, I mean, everything is a consideration, absolutely. But not a consideration, but not a concern, I would say.
Great. Well, thank you. And thanks also for holding all these spaces. It's so cool to get this much information.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's the community outreach is a big part of this, and we will be continuing to do these, either daily or every other day or so, because just fielding your questions and touching base with you guys as we go on is great. I just have to keep Nate in line and not let him not let him leak anything.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for taking my questions. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I think we'll take let me see. We'll take Wall Street Stonks, and then we'll take Wall Street Stonks and Amir, because Amir has been waiting since the same time. And then we'll end it. We'd like to keep these around an hour each one. And then for anybody listening, we are doing these, if not every day, every other day. So there will never be 2 days in a row, as far as our plans align, that we won't have a space. So if there's not a space tomorrow, there will be one the next day. And that doesn't mean that we also can't have a space tomorrow and the next day. It just depends on what has happened the previous day. I think we didn't have a space yesterday. We had one the day before. And as you guys know, we've got new information today. So we like to keep it fresh. We like to keep it clean. We like to let you guys know what is up, and then answer some questions from the community. So Right now, we'll take Wall Street stonks and then Amir right after, and then we'll wrap this space up.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Long-time reflector here. I was just curious what your approach for marketing is going to be. So I have a trading group on Finery. We talk about coins all the time, and I have quite a relatively large following on TikTok. I've made some videos on tokens that I'm interested in before, generating about a couple million views, but I'd hate to drive a lot of bad quality investors. And I'm really curious what your approach is to ensure that we get quality investors and people who are strong and smart investors, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
Nate,
you go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, just to touch it, I would say, so far our organic approach to marketing, which is just, word of mouth and getting this out to intelligent people, I think has brought on, that exact type of holder that we want. We haven't had Telegram calls. We haven't had paid Dex tools trending. We haven't had a paid shill or a paid YouTube video, and we've had a lot of people reach out to do that. And I think like our holder count and the way that the token is performing is a testament to the intelligence of the people that we are attracting to the project. And that'll only continue more so. But yeah, I could let Nate, you could speak more to our future marketing plans, I'm sure.
Yeah, so personally, we're going to be reaching out to marketing advisors and people who can like reach out to exchanges and market our idea in general. But as far as TikTok goes or any of that, we know our niche. Our niche is word of mouth. So there's a lot of like under the radar stuff that gets talked about between tight circles on ways to make money and profitable calls that aren't going to be leaked to the masses. And we never plan to leak this to the masses. If it gets to your grandma, it's because your grandpa told her and his really, really intelligent son told him. So yeah, like I don't get excited by 3% APY, but we are going to cater to people who get excited about 100% to 300% APY. So in terms of marketing goes, we didn't set up a marketing fund on purpose. We don't want money to just spend and just market. We want people, if you look at our chart too, like the people buying are intelligent. The people buying are holding and they're selling small and they're letting the rest ride. We don't want people looking for the 2x, the 3x. We don't want to reach out to anybody or get this in the ear of anybody who regularly calls tokens. And there are people who call tokens and their following is so conditioned to buy and sell at 2x just because they know it always dumps right after. So we're going to completely avoid that type of market by just avoiding them in general. Even on my Twitter, like I kid you not, I have DMs of people saying, "Hey Nate, have you heard of AYCY or ACYC?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard of ACYC. It's pretty cool." So that's the type of stuff we want. Is just people DMing their friends that they actually care about. Like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I'll tell you something cool, you tell me something cool. So yeah, as far as marketing goes, we're not going to be reaching out to anybody, but we will if there are some people that I do highly respect and look up to that do call stuff and break it down to video, let everyone know exactly what it is and why they should be buying, and not aiming for the moonshot, but aiming for the leader in that field. So if it comes down to it, if we get the opportunity to work with a couple of people that we have in mind, that'd be great. But as far as marketing in general goes, we don't need it. Same thing with but not saying that we never will. Not everything can always just be straight organic. Sometimes intervention is needed. But even like Bogart said, with exchanges, we're not reaching out to any centralized exchanges. We've had some people reach out to us, but in general, like there's nothing that we can do on another exchange that we can't do on Uniswap. So as far as it goes right now, that's our marketing plan.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I really wanted to answer that one in depth because it gives a greater understanding of like what our vision is. And I think that really set the tone for a lot of people listening. Sweet. So Amir, let's get your question and let's wrap this up.
Yeah, thanks guys for hosting this, and it's been very informational. So I'm looking to invest. I had two questions. One quick one. At some point, would we have like a prospective or info into like the holdings, maybe in the future, just to see like what the meme coins are part of the index, just so we know, where the funds are going towards. And then the second question I had is like the reflection happening on a scheduled basis, or I think I heard it's like a manual thing that happens. So is there like a schedule for that, or does it just happen like once a month? So
Yeah,
thanks,
sweet.
guys.
Yeah, thank you for the question. As far as our holdings go, we won't be disclosing the specific positions that we're in. We will disclose trade performance at a point, or treasury performance overall. But to disclose what we are choosing would be to give too much insight into why we are choosing things. And we just we can't give away those little tasty details necessarily. And then as far as our reflections go, reflections are happening all the time. So 10% of every single purchase of ACYC is reflected to the holders. There is also a manual reflection that we talk about, and that's sort of what you're talking about, where it's the Treasury sending back 50% of our profits, and that will not be on a schedule because it coincides with us having to buy back ACYC. So obviously, if we were to schedule that, people would just front run us. But there will be, regular reflections, manual reflections sent from the Treasury. But you're always reflecting. We are all always reflecting. I mean, if you come in the Discord, you can see we're reflecting. Every time there's a pump, every time there's a dump, we're always reflecting, and it's amazing. So the manual reflections are just that times 10. And again, you guys when we do the manual reflections, we have to buy ACYC at market. So you're already getting 10% of what we're purchasing when we purchase that ACYC, and then we take all of that ACYC and send that to you as well. So it's just like reflections on reflections on reflections. It's, and when we are at a $5 billion market cap, when we hit a 10 billion market cap, those reflections will be absolutely massive. I mean, we will continue to be, the DeFi 3.0 leaders into the next decade. Absolutely. And those reflections will never stop, but they will not be scheduled either.
Nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. So I think we wrap it up right about now. Yeah, so the last Twitter space hasn't been posted yet. And in the future, we'll have it on our media section of the website. I think Nathan's working on that right now. And then, Amir, I think it was you who mentioned we have a breakdown of like what we're buying and stuff. In the future, it'll show on our website like where we're allocating funds. So it might not show exactly what we're holding. We'll do it on a delayed schedule, but it'll show you the amount we're holding. So like in terms of if we're farming on the Matic chain or some other chain, it'll show that we have like $5 billion on the Matic chain actively farming. Or if we opened a short-term position in Ethereum on a low time frame flip or a dip, it might show that we have allocated this much to a dip, but it won't show what we've bought in the dip until we realize the gains or some on a delayed schedule. Because the last thing we want to do is for stuff to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I know people like ping my wallet and like know when I buy stuff. So like if somebody did ping my good morning trade that I posted on like the alpha group, which I now look is at a 50% gain from when I posted it 2 days ago. Some people ping my wallet and just buy when I buy stuff. Like Good Morning is up 50%, but I did buy something that is down like 30%. But with Good Morning, I spent 10 times more capital on Good Morning than I did on the thing that was down 30%. So same thing though with anything that we invest in. We don't want it to be self-fulfilling where if they see a wallet buy something and they know it's our wallet, that they say, oh, these gigabrains or this algorithm decided this was a good buy, let's buy too, and just make it always in the profit. Because in reality, we're gonna win, we're gonna lose, but we're gonna win big and we're gonna lose small. So yeah, we're not gonna post anything in real time. If anything, it'll be delayed because we do want to become decentralized. But in real time, that's a no-go. We don't want to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. We want the tech and the algorithms and the compensation to speak for itself. So I'm going to head over to the Discord group after we end this call. We'll be posting this and the previous call shortly. And super excited. Jesus Christ, every day I get more bullish on the project we're running. I mean, I don't even look at the chart. Like, if it's pumping right now, cool. If it's dumping right now, cool. We're building. We're going to provide value. And okay, I'm going to go eat some dinner. So talk to you later, everybody. If not tomorrow, then the next day. But we'll post a few hours in advance. And thanks for everyone for their questions, and thanks for coming up, Bogart. Always a pleasure to have somebody to keep me in line so that I don't let somebody front run us.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, of course. And I just wanted to say again to close it off, we are super, super excited about Pan, about Dion. I mean, Pan is the best algo trader. It beats human performance. Dion is like having 1,000 of those, and then you combine that with all the other stuff we're doing, and we're just going to pump so much value back into ACYC for all of you. Just now we can just sit back, take a moment to all reflect together, sit here, and yeah, join the Discord. I'd love to reflect with you guys on there too. So thank you for tuning in.